Do you think life was simple for people in the past? Well, this pair of keys might completely change your mind. At first glance, the structure seems simple, but it has stumped many smart people. Take a close look at the right-hand key. It has a notch. I can almost guarantee that 99% of people will instinctively try to pull it straight out the first time. But that won't work. Those who observe more carefully will notice a groove on the left-hand key. Maybe aligning the notch with the groove is the way out? It feels so close, yet just out of reach. At this point, many lose patience and give up. But those who succeed are the ones who keep searching for a breakthrough. Now, focus on the top. It's the key. Rotate the right-hand key counterclockwise, using the smallest space to pass through the groove. But wait, now you're stuck again. The trick is to flip the left-hand key halfway. Suddenly, the right-hand key slides through effortlessly. Here's where it gets even trickier. The grooves vary in depth, and the shallow ones are a clever illusion set by ancient craftsmen. Rotate the key again, enter through the deeper groove, circle around the figure-8 hole, and after overcoming every obstacle, success. That deserves a round of applause.
How to use these three pieces to create a symmetrical figure, although it only has 3 parts. But it is rated as one of the most difficult puzzles. Once you start trying, you'll quickly realize that it's hard to get a symmetrical shape, because the 3 parts are all different, and there is no symmetry. It seems that no matter how they are combined, they will never become symmetrical. As you can see, there are many different ways to combine these 3 pieces. But there is only one correct answer. What's even more difficult is that maybe the correct answer is right in front of you, but you can't see it. Observation and imagination are also very important. In fact, I've shown the correct solution. I don't know if you can see it. If not, pause the video and think about it. If you haven't noticed it yet, we can change the angle of the graph and maybe you can see it better. We draw a line from the middle, and now you can see that the left and right sides are exactly the same. Did you see it?
My grandfather once created a topological puzzle using just a few wooden pieces. The challenge? Figure out how to remove the ring in under 2 minutes. My first attempt was to pull the rope outward, but the beads blocked the way. Then, I tried going underneath the rope, but the ring was stopped by a wooden disc that was just slightly larger than the ring itself. At this point, many people get stuck. They rack their brains but can't find the solution. Some might notice the long slot on the post and try to pass the ring through it. It looks promising, but the small beads block the way again, leaving the rope even more tangled. So, what's the answer? It requires reverse thinking. The beads are too big to pass through, but the wooden handle at the end of the rope can. First, position the handle vertically and pass it through. Then, hold one bead in the ring, moving them together to the top of the post. Loop the ring over the bead, separating them to opposite sides. Finally, guide the ring along the rope's path through the gap. A gentle pull, and the ring comes free. A round of applause, perhaps? This puzzle earns it.
זה אחד הפאזלים הכי טובים בעולם, והמטרה זה להכניס את 4 החלקים האלה לתוך הקופסה. ואני לא צוחק, יש תחרות פאזלים שקורית פעם בשנה, וב-2017-2018 הפאזל הזה קיבל את אחד המקומות הראשונים. עכשיו, כשאני מכניס חלק אחד לתוך הפאזל, זה נכנס בקלות, ואני יכול להזיז אותו לפה. כשאני מכניס חלק שני לתוך הפאזל, אז הוא גם נכנס בקלות, ואני יכול להזיז אותו לפה. כשאני מכניס את החלק השלישי לפאזל, אז אני שם לב שאם אני אקח את החלק הרביעי ואכניס אותו, אז הוא לא נכנס פנימה. וכל החלקים צריכים להיות מתחת לרשת הזאת. איך זה אפשרי? אם אתם חושבים שאתם יכולים לפתור את זה, שמתי לכם לינק ונראה אתכם מצליחים.
If you can solve this pair of interlocked nails in just 10 seconds, you must be a genius. But in reality, very few people can do it. These aren't just ordinary nails. They're part of a classic brain teaser with a difficulty level of 6. The 2 nails are locked together, and when most people see the gap between them, they'll likely think, maybe I can just slide one nail through the gap and twist it out. But if you try that, you'll quickly discover that the caps at the ends of the nails perfectly block the only exit, making the puzzle even more challenging. At this point, 90% of people lose patience and give up. But this puzzle is all about testing your patience and logic. Don't blink. Let me show you how to solve it. First, grab the nail on the right and slide it through the center gap. Now comes the key move. Rotate the nail 180 degrees with your right hand, then lift it up. This perfectly aligns the two caps. Finally, twist it from the top. You've solved it. How about a round of applause? How can you take the stars out of the cage? This is a classic puzzle with over 100 years of history. The stars are trapped inside the cage. The width of each fence cannot be used to directly take out the stars. Moreover, the holes at both ends of the cage are not large enough. Many people who have looked at the structure of the puzzle believe that the stars cannot be taken out. If you also think so, you must look carefully. We need to observe the subtle differences between the fences. There will be one that is slightly wider. It is hard to notice without careful observation. Many people who discovered this did not pay much attention to it. This is the key to solving it. First, move the stars to here. This cannot remove it directly. You also need an interesting trick. Rotate it. When adjusted to the right angle, more spines will come out of the cage. At this time, you still need patience. Perhaps after a few minutes, the stars will be free. Do you like this puzzle? This is a seemingly impossible puzzle. The challenge is to remove the ring. The ring is trapped in the middle of the two parts, and the parts at both ends are relatively large, due to the smaller size of the ring. No matter where you move it, you can't remove it. There doesn't seem to be any way out, and there is no notch in the ring. After reading it, many people thought that it was impossible to remove the ring. What if I told you? Removing the ring is actually very simple. It only takes a few simple steps. Do you know how? All you have to do is place the puzzle horizontally. Then hold one part in each hand. Next, move the ring to the junction of the two parts. And then, rotate your hands in opposite directions. The ring slides to the groove where the two parts are connected. At last, overlap the two in the middle. A new channel is formed. You can easily remove the ring. Did you like this puzzle? Do you know how to remove the ring from the cross? As you can see, it is impossible to remove the ring from any angle. You can try to pull the wooden block, and even if you try your best, you can't separate the cross, and you can't see the inside of the cross. If you look closely enough, you will see that the cross will loosen a little. This is the only clue. If I told you that it only takes a second to separate the cross, do you know how? All you have to do is place it on a flat table and rotate it. Pick up one of the pieces, and the two parts will separate and you can remove the ring. For each part of the cross has a stick on each side. No matter which way you lean it, the stick will lock the cross. Only when the centrifugal force is generated by the rotation will the stick be hidden. We put the pieces together, shook them slightly, and the pieces locked together. Did you like this puzzle?
If puzzles had difficulty levels, how would you rate this one? This is a classic topological rope puzzle. Almost everyone, when they first get their hands on it, instinctively follows the red string along its track. But when they reach the end, they're blocked by a small ring at the exit. Some quicker thinkers might try to guide the red string through the center of the ring and pull it outward, thinking they're about to succeed. But then, the bead at the end of the string becomes their biggest obstacle. It seems simple at first, but the design is surprisingly clever. So, how do you remove the red string without damaging it? People who enjoy puzzles often have great spatial imagination and flexible problem-solving skills. Here's a hint. When the red string returns to the starting point, switch the positions of your hands. Then, pick up the string again and follow the track outward, but stop here. Now, reverse direction and guide the string upward through the ring. Then, turn downward, follow the circular path in the middle. Success! Can we get a round of applause?
This is a classic puzzle from 1986. It's called Crossroads. The goal is to move the 4 balls to the inside of the box and then to the outside. As you can see, you can easily move 3 balls to the inside, and once you try to solve the last ball, one of the balls will slide towards the outside of the box. In fact, the first part is not difficult, because there are small grooves on the inside of the box, and you can move or tap the box slowly. 4 balls will move to the inside of the box. But moving the ball to the outside is quite difficult. If you take the same approach, even if you spend a whole day, you won't be able to complete the challenge. But if I told you that there is a way to complete the challenge in just a second, do you know how to do it? All you have to do is place the puzzle in a flat place. Then rotate it. Due to centrifugal force, the ball will move to the outside. Did you like this puzzle? This is one of the most popular puzzles of the 20th century, called Peppermint Stick. The challenge is to take the puzzle apart and reconstruct it. It only takes one step to take apart, pushing any of them. But it's much more difficult to assemble. Take it apart and you'll get 4 identical metal rods. Almost everyone will twist the 4 parts together on the first attempt. And you can do everything you can, even for hours. But eventually, as soon as you let go of your hand, they will fall apart. So, what's the solution? When you see the solution, you may find it fairly simple. All you have to do is hold the 3 parts first and screw them together. This way, you can make the shape that you see at the beginning, with the only difference being that this one leaves a gap. Now you can pick up the last part, slide it through the gap, and push it all the way down the curve to the top, and the 4 metal rods form a solid whole. Did you like this puzzle? Can you place another square block in the frame? You can't delete any piece in the framework. This seems impossible, but I want to tell the solution very simple. Do you know how to do it? You only need to take out the 4 squares. I put them here, and I did not change or delete any piece. Next, there is no need to change the position of the triangle. Just turn them over one side. After adjusting the triangle, the square can now be placed back to the framework. Complete it all. There is an extra space in the frame. It can just accommodate the last piece. This is not magic. Do you know why this is?
Have you heard that the people who can figure out how to remove a lock in 10 seconds have genius-level minds? Let's take a look at this puzzle. The lock is stuck inside the rope. The only way to get it out is to remove the nail or cut the rope. But can you think of another way? Of course, you might wonder, why not just use the key to open the lock? But the challenge is to solve it without the key. I know it sounds crazy, but stick with me. No matter how much we tug or move the nail, the lock stays inside the rope. From this angle, it seems impossible. But for those quick thinkers, there's one clever solution. First, pull the rope from the back to the front. Then hook your index finger through it. Next, loop the second knot over the nail on the left side. Then pull the back knot over the nail again. Here's the magic moment. With one gentle pull, the lock falls off, and you've escaped. Can you figure this out on your own?